Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. And today is Hump Day.
Uh-oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's Hump Day.
Woo-hoo!
Ronnie, how happy are folks who save hundreds of dollars switching to Geico? I'd say happier than a camel on Wednesday.
Hump day!
Get happy.
Yeah!
Get Geico.
That's right, Geico gets a free commercial every Wednesday where we talk about Hump Day because you know what? For us, Hump Day is the day in which we attempt to begin the weekend, sometimes with success, sometimes not. But Hump Day is an epic part of the American lifestyle, so we're going to enjoy it because you know what? The fun is all in the trying. How's everybody doing today? We appreciate having you on board. We're having a good time here. Mike Pilwarski is going to be joining us. Unfortunately, he's going to be joining us a little bit late, so I will be keeping an eye out for him, and we'll plug him into the program as soon as he gets here. But right now, it's you and I. We're here. We're here live. That's right. If you're watching us live, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, on Rumble, on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Twitter, go ahead and comment because we're going to be monitoring your comments right over here. And if we like what you have to say, or let me clarify, we don't have to like it. If we find it interesting and entertaining, we'll share it with the rest of the audience. And, obviously, if we don't like it, we'll probably mock you. But, it's all in good fun because that's what we're here to do. We're here to have a good time. We want to talk politics. We want to talk policy. We want to talk the Second Amendment. But mostly we want to have fun. That's why we call this infotainment, shall we say, because we want to provide you with information, but we also kind of want to be entertaining because we want it to be an enjoyable experience. So anyway, that's what I'm hoping for y'all is that this is an enjoyable experience. But before we get into that experience, we got to do what we got to do, and we got to pay those bills. And we always start with a quick shout out to our sponsors. These are the folks that bring us to you. Folks like Hitman Industries. They sell rifle and pistol caliber barrels. They are available for you to purchase at any length. If you've purchased an AR recently or in the last few years, chances are you already have one of their barrels, so why not get another one? Maybe you're looking to rebarrel one of your older firearms, or maybe you're looking to do a brand new build. Check them out today at hitmanindustries.net. If you're a first responder and you've never purchased from them before, you're going to get a discount. Once again, check them out today, hitmanindustries.net. Then we've got the California Republican Assembly working to help elect conservatives at all levels of government, from school board all the way up to President of the United States. Ronald Reagan once referred to CRA as the conscience of the Republican Party. Check them out at cragop.org. That's cragop.org. If you want to be a part of California's future today, you got to join CRA. And then we've got Hog Holsters. That's right, Hog Holsters, the best in concealed carry tactical holsters on the market. Just go to their website, hogholsters.com. That's HAWG holsters.com. That's helping Americans wear guns. Go there, use the discount code The Rundown. All caps, no spaces, one word, just like it is right up there, and you're going to get a discount on us. And then finally, with the weather changing, it's about that time. Maybe you need to get different tactical gear. Maybe you need cold weather gear. Maybe you need wet weather gear. Maybe you need a backpack. Maybe you need a hat. Maybe you need some eyes. Look, whatever you need, they have all things tactical except the gun. All right, check it. Go there. Check them out right now because here's the deal. They have a huge selection. They have competitive prices. They have fast shipping. And by the way, veteran-owned and operated. Check them out today, uscombatgear.com. All right, folks, well, that's going to be it for the shout-outs. But we're going to go ahead and get y'all plugged in, start talking about the issues of the day. And the big one of the day, at least the first one that we're going to be talking about here, has to do with Liz Cheney. Now, you might remember that Liz Cheney is, not a big fan of our president-elect or of our former president. She and her father very much do not like President Donald Trump. And as such, because of her disdain for the man, she was one of only two Republicans that were a part of the January 6th committee. That's right, that was the sham of a committee that basically sought to railroad President Donald Trump and accuse him of being involved in an insurrection, which occurred on January 6th. Really, what she's referring to is the Capitol riot that took place, or as Mike likes to say at the tourist event. There was not. Mike and I will continue to disagree about this. There were some people who were engaged in some very, very bad things, and they need to be prosecuted. I think Mike would agree with that. I don't, though, believe it was. I wouldn't label it as a tourist event, a tour of the Capitol. But there were a lot of people who were charged with a lot of stuff that really they should have been charged with. But I'm getting off on a whole different thingy over there. The point, though, that I wanted to make in this particular conversation, though, has to do with the January 6th committee. And during the January 6th committee, we know that everything was highly scripted. I mean, it was, interestingly, it was a very well choreographed and scripted. By the way, they hired a Hollywood producer to actually script and put the whole thing together. But it was all propaganda. And the whole point behind it was propaganda. And now it appears that there is some information out there, or at least there are charges that are being leveled against Liz Cheney, basically accusing her of witness tampering. And let me here. I got a little news program here, kind of telling you a little bit about what the exact charge, or at least what is going on. Anyway, let me play this, and then I'll talk to you a little bit more about the story on the flip side.
Administration Subcommittee on Oversight, the committee that's been investigating January 6th, just released its final report for this year. It accuses Liz Cheney of tampering with the witness, Cassidy Hutchinson, trying to influence her testimony. It formally recommends that the Federal Bureau of Investigation criminally investigate Liz Cheney when President Trump takes over on January 20th. One of several bombshell revelations in here. The report also says that Jack Smith colluded with the January 6th committee, but that some of the evidence has not yet been turned over to Congress. They're demanding that evidence be turned over, something that might happen when the new administration takes over. But a really significant and rare moment for Congress to actually suggest that one of its members should be criminally prosecuted for tampering with a witness in an official government proceeding, a House hearing, the January 6th House hearing. As you remember, Cassidy Hutchinson was the bombshell witness for the Democrats, claimed that Donald Trump tried to commandeer the presidential limousine, take it to the Capitol. We now know that wasn't true. The Secret Service had already told Liz Cheney it wasn't true. She presented the evidence anyways to the American public, tried to give it credence. There's some other testimony where Cassidy Hutchinson talks about a document. She claims she wrote it. She didn't. Someone else wrote it. All of that is laid out in this report. But the headline is, Liz Cheney could be facing an FBI criminal investigation based on this information that Congress has transmitted this morning.
John.
All right. So once again, the point here that they're making is that she's basically been guilty of, or being charged with witness tampering. And in case you forgot who the witness is that's being referenced here, this is the story. This story here will kind of tell you a little bit more about who this witness was and what her role in the whole January 6th saga was.
Why did she go where so few have gone before?
What Cassidy Hutchinson did was an unbelievable example of bravery and of courage and patriotism in the face of real pressure.
The president said something to the effect of, "I'm the effing president. Take me up to the Capitol now." To which Bobby responded, "Sir, we have to go back to the West Wing." The president reached up towards the front of the vehicle to grab at the steering wheel.
People have outright said that she's not telling the truth, that Cassidy Hutchinson's not telling the truth about what happened in the presidential motorcade.
The committee is not going to stand by and watch her character be assassinated by anonymous sources and by men who are claiming executive privilege. And so we look forward very much to additional testimony under oath on a whole range of issues.
All right, so that's her defending this individual's testimony. And what's really crazy about this is now the texts that have come out as a result of this. And Let me pull some of those text messages up. So this is a little bit, and I blew up some of this. So this is all one image. So I blew some of it up so you could see it. Now this is, once again, this is Liz Cheney. Once again, sending messages. Says here, we'll call you shortly. Sorry, got stuck. Yada, yada, yada. Now, she's referring to and wanted to send her this message right here. Now, this right here, if you're having a hard time reading it, because I know Lord knows I am, but it says here, with DOJ refusing to hold Mark and Scavino in contempt, and with the committee talking about you to the press again, I don't see why we do anything more with them. There is a small element of risk in refusing to cooperate, but I think it is best move for you. Do you agree? Did they reach out about live hearing? I don't want to gamble with being held in contempt. Stefan, I think that says Stefan. I am sorry, but I don't think I can do it. They have not, and then go to the final thing here. And once again, that was a message that was sent. I don't. All right, Mike. I got Mike on the program here. Just FYSA. Mike, what does just FYSA mean? Maybe I'm not up on the acronyms.
For your situational awareness.
So I wanted to send it for our situation. I'll give you a call tomorrow. So basically, here's what's going on here. Is she is speaking with and coordinating with a witness in order to guide her testimony. Now, I could be wrong, but that's a crime.
Yeah, you know, an attorney or counsel can help them how to present the truth. Their story. Well, maybe not the truth, because if the defendant's lying, that's one thing. That's a different thing. But the attorney cannot tell them what to say as far as the facts or the content. They could say, no, let's deliver it like this. Let's introduce it like this. But they can't say, you have to still understand and say that the president tried to grab the steering wheel. They can't do that. That is a crime. Yes.
But Mike, it goes even worse. This is not the attorney that is doing this. This is the committee. These are the people who are supposed to be intaking this information.
Yeah.
The judge can't do that, can they?
No. And it's the kind of thing that they could be impeached for, if they're on the committee. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, she's not on the committee anymore, but
yeah. I'm not talking about impeached from the committee. I'm talking about being impeached from Congress for doing that. And I think we all understand and know. We've seen Liz Cheney talk. She has TDS so bad that she'll stand there and tell you that the sky is magenta, or whatever. She because if Trump says it's blue, she's gonna argue it's not, because she has the TDS that bad.
Oh, most definitely. And once again, anyone who paid attention to it and has looked at all of the information that's come out since the January 6th committee, they know that once again it was a show. It wasn't even. I wouldn't even call it a trial. You can't even. It was a show. That's all it was. And you notice that they didn't allow. The number of people that they did not allow to testify was ridiculous. The people that they
everything.
Yeah, anybody that didn't support their narrative, they ignored. Then we come to find out that they literally hid hundreds of hours of video, surveillance video of people walking around the Capitol, being guided and directed around the Capitol by Capitol Police. Yeah. None of that made it into their investigations. None of it. Absolutely none of it.
We in law enforcement, right? And there's certain things you have to understand. You deal with case law, you deal with statute law all the time. One of the things we had was, and Craig, I remember going to a party, a late night party in a swanky neighborhood. Parents were gone and the kids were throwing some bomb party. Now, additionally, so nobody thinks it was a chicken shit kind of deal. In Florida, the law is nobody under 21 can have alcohol. Even if the parent is in your home, in your bedroom, and hands it to you, that's a crime in Florida. There's no, domicile exception to it. All right. So it was alcohol. It was a party. It was a bunch of, 17, 18-year-olds, high school kids. And we got there, and normally you can't go in. You got to watch a felony in progress, right? Or get a search warrant to go inside. Unless, of course, there's a sign on the door that says "come in," and it was taped to the door and said "come in." It's the same principle as if somebody's holding a door open for you. If they're holding the door open for you, you are not trespassing. You have not committed a burglary. You are not someplace you shouldn't be. And the police stood there, and you and I watched the video of them holding the door open for people to come in, and then they charged those people for being in that building. That's the kind of sham that this was. That's the kind of kangaroo court it was. You and I both used to talk about it as on today's episode of the Tourism's Not a Crime. This is what happened.
Well, and by the way, the committee suppressed all of that, didn't provide any of that any of that video, none of it to the defense of any of the people who were being charged on January 6th.
That's correct. That's correct. If they were lawyers, they would be disbarred for that because they're not giving or handing over discovery. And most of them are lawyers up there. We know that. So they may end up disbarred over this. If the GOP is smart, they'll go to their state licensing boards and have them disbarred, as well as seek impeachment against them.
Yeah, it's just, once again, and this is, I will continue to say, I think that all of the funny part about all of this is these people who so blatantly have, like you said, TDS, who did these sham trials, sham impeachments of President Trump. Every single one of them now have egg on their face, and every single one of them actually contributed to his getting reelected, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, listen, the more Liz Cheney would get up and speak, she was just churning up voters for him. It was great.
Well, it is now obvious they have been exposed.
Yeah.
And the lies that they have been telling in so many different areas, it is, for people who refuse to see it, they will forever refuse to see it. And I get that. Those people will never change their mind. But I think just this election alone just goes to show that there are a lot of people whose minds and eyes have been opened.
Yeah, I don't know if you ran it yesterday. I was busy, didn't get to be on the show or watch the show. Did you do the Stephen A. Smith monologue?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Yeah.
And you couldn't have made the point any clearer. This was a guy who, he wasn't anti-Donald Trump, but he definitely is on the left. He definitely wanted to excuse the media. But even he finally, after talking about example after example of how the media has been proven to be lies, and how the things that their lies made what Donald Trump was saying out to be the truth. And he's like, why should we believe you anymore? You just flat out lied. You got him elected.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, I just think, to me, in part, it is the American people are I think to a certain degree are waking up. Now, you still have folks like Reuters who are pushing the idea that, well, first of all, it says here, Trump pushes FBI probe of Republican Liz Cheney over January 6th panel. Now, let's be very clear. Number one, it was the House committee that did this. It wasn't a Republican House committee. It was a House committee that recommended this. They don't say a Democrat probe of somebody when the Democrats are in charge. So it's not a Republican probe. So this is him pointing out that this needs to be done, right? And he's not asking that Republicans do it. They're asking the Biden administration, under the Biden administration, for them to open up this investigation. And it's funny because when you go down here in the piece, all it talks about is he says he wants retribution. He's not looking for his retribution. Like I said yesterday, is doing a good job, is the success of America, of the economy getting back on track. on track. His success is going to be his retribution. But what he also said was, if people broke the law in subverting our electoral system, in undermining our government, they ought to be held accountable. Now, I'm thinking something like witness tampering, withholding of evidence in order to impeach a sitting president. That sounds like it fits the idea of undermining our electoral system, our governance system.
Yeah, remember all that stuff you did left? All that stuff you went after the president and all that underhanded crap and all that illegal stuff? Well, he's coming for you. He's coming for you. That's why he put those people in power. He put those people in office. And guess what? It's going to be legitimate investigations, and I'm sure they're going to be open about them. And it's not going to be a witch hunt like you've done for the past 4 years.
It's not because you are his political enemies. It's because you broke the law in going after him.
Correct. So if the president does these investigations against these people, it doesn't help him one bit. He's not running for office again.
Nope, not at all. Not at all. But what it does do is it sends a message to anybody who in the future decides they want to try this stuff. Yeah, you're going to be held accountable. Just saying.
Cleans out the swamp. It gets the criminals and the corrupt out of Washington.
Yep. And by the way, we're not, and when you say the criminals and the corrupt, we're not just talking about folks there in Congress. We're not just talking about elected. We're talking about those deep state bureaucrats as well.
Exactly right.
Right. Speaking of justice being done, you might have remember we reported on this 2 years ago, something like that, about the Chinese government running secret prisons here in the United States, where they were going after either people who were either formerly or current Chinese nationals, and locking them up, going after them, trying to get them to be more friendly to the Chinese government. Well, it turns out one of the spies, or at least one of them who is actually in charge of one of these facilities, well, it turns out he's pled guilty and is facing 5 years in prison. It says here, a Chinese spy who ran a secret police station in Manhattan to help Beijing target government dissidents faces up to 5 years in prison after pleading guilty Wednesday to acting as an illegal foreign agent, federal prosecutors said. Chen Jinping, 60, admitted in Brooklyn federal court to conspiring to act on behalf of the People's Republic of China without telling U.S. authorities. Now, this is the FARA Act, I believe, Mike. And once again, I don't know if it's necessarily the FARA Act, but I do know that he's being charged with, it's kind of funny that he couldn't, to be clear, he could not have run these prisons even with American telling the American authorities, right?
Right.
Yeah. That piece made it sound like, well, he was just guilty because he didn't tell him he was running his secret Chinese prison.
Yeah. See, if I had registered as a foreign agent running an illegal secret prison, then it would have been okay. Yeah, that's right. I love the media. I love the news. Was that a Reuters article? Sounds like a Reuters article.
Actually, that was the New York Post.
Well, they work things odd sometimes, so.
They do. But I think what happened was I think what happened was he is operating as a foreign agent. What I'm still wondering is if the whole Chinese prison thing, maybe the charges haven't exactly been filed on that yet.
Yeah, they'll have kidnapping charges or false imprisonment to follow as well, and then whatever the abuse is. And I'm sure there's theft from. They took everything, every dime that they made. They probably held their passports. There's a bunch of stuff to go on.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of investigating into exactly who was held, how long they were held, and they probably, if I'm guessing correctly, they probably want to make sure they have all of the information so that they can file all the charges appropriately at the right time.
Exactly.
So.
I wonder if they'll take a bunch of misdemeanors and turn them into felonies. Oh wait, that's the Manhattan District Attorney's, not Brooklyn's. Sorry.
Well, and he's not Donald Trump.
Exactly.
And, if he were working on behalf of the Russians, then maybe they would have charged him. But he's working on behalf of the Chinese.
No collusion.
That's right. That's the Democrats.
That's right.
Hillary. Oh, fun stuff, fun stuff. All right, moving right along. This is an interesting one, and this is one I think that many Republicans will find quite useful. It's a real estate app or a real estate platform that will actually tell you what the political leanings are of the people in a particular community where you want to live. So if you don't want to live around a bunch of libs, you need to check out this real estate platform. This is being reported by the International Business Times. It says here, real estate platform to show neighbors' political leanings to prospective home buyers. A new real estate platform will allow users to look at the political leanings of the different areas to which they might consider moving. The tool is being launched by a tech startup, Aussie, there you go, and will initially be available in South Florida and New York City, according to Axios. Users will be able to see consumer and political data for each block drawn from election results, campaign contributions, and licensable commercial data, the outlet explained. It will show average housing trends. The launch comes weeks after a survey from Realtor.com showed that about a quarter of Americans are highly influenced by local and national politics in their decision to buy real estate. And, I really think, Mike, that a lot of this, what you got to be concerned, I'm not going to say concerned, but the reality is I don't think you need this to know. All you have to do is look at the community. Are there BLM signs up? Are there Trump signs up? Do they, are the streets clean? Are there jobs in the community? Are the schools good? Chances are it's a Republican neighborhood.
Yeah, listen, and that article says that it's a primary reason where people choose to live is the political leanings of the community. That's garbage. It is, can I afford to live here? That's all it comes down to. Now, on a secondary and tertiary reasoning, if you can afford to live there, it's probably because it is a conservative neighborhood and they have conservative politicians at the local and state level. The taxes are low and they have the ability to live there economically. If it's like you said, if it's a bad neighborhood or, it's got obvious signs, you can't really go there, right? But if it's got extremely high taxes, well, you can pick who the government is. And all this is pretty much available, Craig. You can go down to your last city's local election and see what the vote percentage was for the tiny little city district you live in. If it was 82%, blue, guess what? I'm going to a different district. That's about all it comes to.
And most people aren't necessarily moving to some place because of the politics of where they're going, but more because of the politics of where they move from. And a great example is a huge number of people who moved from Los Angeles to Las Vegas. Las Vegas is a liberal town in a purple state. But it's a liberal town. They move from one liberal town to another liberal town. In some cases, they're moving to red. I can tell you that I'm more concerned about the state and the state than probably the local. But I do know that it plays a factor in where you're going to move, and I think the reason why it plays a factor is not because of the party registration. It plays a factor because the policies that are going to be implemented are either going to make it a better community or a worse community. And I think voters have spoken. Liberal policies make it a worse community.
Yeah, and if this gets down to the point where they're going to pinpoint houses and things like that, and that's out there, that's an easy solve, Craig. I put a sign in my front yard that says conservative and gun owner, unlike my neighbor on the left and right of me.
I'll tell you a funny story. I'll never forget several years back when I didn't know what the politics of my neighbors were until I put a Trump sign out, and all of a sudden, come to find out, I had a neighbor on the side of me was a Trump supporter, neighbor behind me, right? Because we're on a corner lot. Neighbor behind me pulled out his Trump flags.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, all right, I'm good. I'm anchored on both sides by good Americans.
Now I'm curious, when you got to a neighbor that wasn't on the same team, did you guys join your fences to make one big wall so you didn't have to deal with them?
No, we didn't, because no, there were no Harris, Biden, or any Hillary Hillary, whatever his name was. None of those came out.
Got it. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, we were safe. All right, moving right along. You know, a lot of people don't realize that Barack Obama actually was responsible for more deportations than Donald Trump. Now, there's reasons for that. Now, the reasons why is, number one, when Donald Trump became president, fewer people came because they knew that the door was no longer open. But at least Barack Obama made it a point to try and have people deported. But I found it interesting, and I wanted to share this article from CNN where they're talking about how some parts of Trump's deportation plan may be Obama-esque, and it says there's a reason for that. It says here, President-elect Donald Trump promised mass deportation on the campaign trail, and while the scale of it remains vague, the elements of the plan are an unlikely call back to former President Barack Obama, who was billed the deporter-in-chief by Democrats and immigrant advocates. While Trump allies have floated draconian measures to detain and deport people residing in the U.S. illegally, the plans are in many ways consistent with the way immigration and customs enforcement has often carried out operations. And the person at the helm is Tom Homan, a veteran of immigration law enforcement who served under the Obama administration and has been tapped by Trump to serve as the border czar. Quote, a lot of the same tactics are being dusted off. What Tom is talking about are Obama-esque things, said John Sandweg, who served as acting ICE director under Obama, cautioning that it's likely going to be a harsher version of what was done in the Obama era. Well, of course it's going to be a harsher version, because we're not just going to stop, Trump is not just going to stop at criminals who are breaking the law. He's also not going to put up with local municipalities getting in the way of immigration being able to do their jobs.
Yeah, and listen, John Sandwig, liberal, very much liberal. He probably thinks it's harsher because they won't be using their chosen pronouns when they throw them out of the country. But Craig, I'll just tell you, listen, if you live in New Mexico, be careful. Be careful, because Trump has said all the Mexicans are going back. So you guys might get thrown in there.
Old Mexicans and New Mexicans.
Old Mexicans and New Mexicans. I ain't got time for either one. You like Corona beer? Stock up now, because it might not be coming in anymore. Yeah.
You know, I got to tell you, I'm hearkening back, and there's probably going to be a movie that's going to come out. You remember when Cheech Marin did the movie where he got deported, called I Was Born in East LA?
Born in East LA, yeah.
Yes.
With Jan Michael Vincent. Yeah, of course I remember that, yeah.
I have a feeling we're going to see a remake of that movie sometime during the during the Trump administration.
There we go. Yep. I was born in East LA.
I was.
Yeah, 86, 87 that came out, something like that. Yep.
Yes. Good stuff. All right, folks. Well, hey, that brings us around to our parting shots. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holsters. Just go to hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. All caps, no spaces. Get your Hog Holster today. Our first one here today, this is a fun one. I like this one because it's an oldie but a goodie. But I think it makes sense since we are talking about deportation. It says here, when I depart Ilian, this is Donald Trump, by the way, for those of you who are just listening to the program. It's a tweet from him that says, when I deport Ilhan Omar, we can just say some people did something.
Yep. There you go. We did something. We have to do something.
Well, no, remember when she was talking about 9/11 and she said on 9/11, some people did something.
Yes. No, that's, she was talking about 9/11, and she used it again when the attacks in Israel.
Yes. Oh, there you go. That was a whole nother one. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, and then we also have here a video. Not a video. I'm sorry. This isn't the video. This is well, I'll just show it here with you. This is Joe Biden 2020. That laptop is not real. My son is innocent. And then 2024, I'm pardoning my son for the stuff on the laptop.
Yep.
Now, that wasn't exactly what he said, but that's exactly what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said. Okay. And this last one, it's not political in nature, but as a grandfather to four and trying to do grace with little ones, for those of you for you heathens who do not know, saying grace is, thanking the Lord for the bountiful, food that you have for your food and everything like that. You got to watch this. And I'm sorry for those of you who are just listening, but you're going to totally miss this. But these kids are so adorable as they just cannot wait for grace to be over.
So much for this day, Lord. Thank you for all you do for us, for being with us. Thanks for getting us around safely today. Be with all of our families and friends. Bless this food.
Bow your head.
We're praying.
We're praying. And Lord, we're just so...
Experience the fullest life. We ask for help as we each take our own challenges. And
that we just glorify you in all we do, Lord. Lord, don't laugh. Close your eyes and pray. And Lord, we just pray that nobody's eating with their eyes closed and pretending like they're praying, Lord.
Father God, we thank you for this food. We thank you for blessing us to see this day. Let's pray, Jaden. Let's pray. Jaden, we have to pray first before you eat.
And our full charms. Full charms.
We'll have good drinks tonight. Please bless the food and thank you for it. And thank you for Dad and all the prayers in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Pelo dia de hoje. Obrigado por tudo, Senhor. Obrigado por esse dia maravilhoso, por essa mesa farta, por tudo que temos, Pai Santo e Pai amado. Obrigado por nos ter abençoado grandemente, Senhor, e pedimos. Abençoe esse alimento em nome.
All right, so our last one was just so that you know that that's not just an American thing. Even kids of other cultures do it. It's a multicultural thing.
Listen, I've heard some prayers, some ministers go on forever and ever. I might need a snack during one of them.
Yeah. Okay, yes, I do resemble that remark. I've experienced that in the past.
Yep.
All right, Mike. Well, hey, it's about that time. Before we tune out, let's go ahead and give a quick shout out to our sponsors.
Yep. Let's say hi to Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. Got to see the guys yesterday, hung out with them there. If you want yourself an AR barrel for any rifle caliber, any pistol caliber, any length you desire for your next AR build or rebarrel your current AR platform, hit them up at hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly, fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. And if you want the best in tactical gear, whether it be military, law enforcement, fire, EMS, civilian, you can get everything except the gun at uscombatgear.com.
That's right, folks. These are our sponsors. They bring us to you so that we can bring you to them. Do us a favor, do them a favor, do yourself a favor. Visit their websites by following the links in the description of this program. Go there, spend some money, tell them the guys over at the Rundown sent you. And with that, this show is a wrap. We very much appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate you liking and sharing the program and encouraging your friends to do the same. We will be back tomorrow on Throat Punch Thursday. Till then, have fun, stay safe, and if you get a chance, make sure to send a few downrange. We will see you tomorrow.